Shout out to G-Man Boxing. Where's the piss bottle? It's over there.
Alright lads and lassies, just got done watching Paul Gallen versus Lucas Browne. Hadn't planned on covering this fight. Actually kind of forgot that this was on until I checked Twitter earlier in the day and they were announcing the ring walk. So I said I'll watch it. Lucas Browne got knocked out in the first round. Boy, cast your minds back, right? Just remember this, right? Do you remember when Tyson Fury was talking about fighting in December? Alright, and before we started hearing Takam and Kabayel, one of the very first names that got chucked around was Lucas Browne. Now just imagine in an alternate time zone, or time, whatever they call it. Imagine that it actually happened. I mean, you're getting stopped in a round by Paul Gallen. What would Tyson Fury have done? Thank God. I think it was just hearsay, but thank God it was just hearsay. Lucas Browne, I've never seen him look so bad in my life. Lucas Browne to me has been shot for years. This is the worst I've ever seen him. Rob Tebbert released a tweet, and it was a joking reference that was this fight, were we watching slow motion replays or were we watching the actual fight? And to be fair, you couldn't really tell the difference. Both guys were as slow as molasses, but Lucas Browne especially, he looked about as graceful as an elephant in there. He was as slow as molasses. It was actually quite pathetic to see, and I mean that in the nice way, that a 42-year-old man has made not enough from boxing that he has to resort to this, that he still has to fight. And he gave an interview, or not an interview, I think he went on Instagram or something. I was watching Boxing Squared's video on it, and Lucas Browne was saying that he's still going to fight again. Based off that performance, Lucas Browne, I think Boxing Squared said Lucas Browne is a journeyman without the record, and I have to agree. He pretty much is. He looked terrible in there. Paul Gallen is or Gallen, however you pronounce it, he's a former rugby player. I didn't know that, now, to be fair, because I don't follow rugby. But I did look at his box rec, and he has fought nobodies. Literally, he has fought debutantes or guys with losing records. He's fought nobody. 5 years ago, it was March 2016, Lucas Browne fought Ruslan Chagayev. And even before he fought Chagayev, when he was undefeated, he was calling out Deontay Wilder. People noted that maybe he's limited. You could always see Lucas Browne was limited. You could see it against Rudenko. You could see it against Richard Towers. You could see it in a couple of the fights he had, James Toney. He was a limited heavyweight, but he could punch. That was the one thing, he could punch. Jeff Fenech said Lucas Browne could definitely punch. And he was calling out Deontay Wilder. He ended up getting a crack at Ruslan Chagayev. Ruslan Chagayev was well schooled. He was alright technically, but he was really a fat cruiserweight. And he'd seen better days at the time. And Lucas Browne went over to Chechnya, put on a career best performance, was still losing the fight in my opinion, but done very well. Got up off the canvas to stop Chagayev. Subsequently after, it emerged that he had tested positive for clenbuterol, I believe it was, over there in Grozny. I was very suspicious about that because I remember the shenanigans that went on with the Frezikendo fight with Chagayev. Bear in mind, Chagayev is very good friends with the president of Chechnya, and he's in attendance for all them fights. And I knowing the track record that happens over there, I kind of thought to myself, he's been hung out to dry. They sang him a lullaby, and that. But subsequently emerged he failed another test, this time for Osterine. This is all in 2016. And then he went in against Dylan White, looking 2 years later, looking absolutely terrible for me. And it takes a lot to change my mind. I was convinced he was set up. After seeing that, I was like, he probably wasn't. He probably was, chanting his arm. Because I've never seen, and bear in mind, I don't think he fought in the immediate. I never saw such a change, where he was putting in a career best performance 2 years ago. Yeah, you can age overnight, but he hadn't taken any abuse. He cuts, but he always cuts. To that, I was like, holy mother, that's not good. To talk about this fight in a nutshell, Lucas Browne was very slow. Defense seemed doggone. Punch resistance has never really been there, to be honest with you. He's always had questionable chin, but he was getting hurt very easily. I mean, the shot that landed from Gallen was kind of like they were in kind of a clinch. It was a right hand that kind of caught him on the side of the head, sent Lucas Browne down, and Paul Gallen finished the job. Then he finished him up again the ropes. Lucas Browne went down again, and that was all. Sure, took about 2 minutes. The Dylan White knockout was very bad knockout. Took a beating before the knockout. The Dave Allen performance, he won the first 2 rounds, to be fair, before getting folded by a body shot. But realistically, you're losing to Dave Allen. That kind of tells you where you are. You're kind of at the Tom Little kind of area, you know, Shondale Winters kind of zone. But now, you know, you're, you know, I don't even want to know, but you know, you're down. I mean, this guy he fought. If he meets anyone, like, I'd pick Dave Allen over this guy, to be honest with you. That's the kind of level he's at in the nicest way. But Lucas Browne saying he wants to carry on his career, I don't think that's a good idea. Who am I to tell him what he can and can't do? But for his own health and safety, I would advise against that. He's 42 years old. I'm aware he hasn't made the kind of money that he obviously wanted to from boxing, but you got to think of your health at the end of the day. As they say, your health is your wealth. And if he goes in there against anyone, bear in mind, this was a former rugby player who's not really a boxer, who's 39 years old. Imagine they put him in with Fabio Wadley when they were trying to get that fight, how badly hurt he would have got. You know, Alan Babbage, you know, guys like that. Imagine Lucas Browne took a fight in the away corner for, you know, however much money against it. He'd get seriously hurt. So I don't want to see that. Got to leave it here. We're going to do a live stream this evening, probably about 8 o'clock. I need to get something to eat first, but we're going to do a live stream this evening. We'll have a chat about things. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Should Lucas Browne carry on? Should he continue? Or should he retire? I think he should retire. I think most people would agree. Like the video if you did. Subscribe if you're new. #GMazRocks. All that good stuff, lads. I'll talk to you in a wee bit. Peace.